All right. There we go. Hello. Happy Saturday, everybody. I'm so happy to be here once again. My name's Shayne Goss, and I did the Sermon on Consciousness of the Heart back in December, so I'm very happy to be back and with the opportunity of pre-recording my session because it is mandatory that I work on Saturdays. So I'm very, very happy to be back and speaking a little bit more on QHHT and trance states today, which a lot of folks showed interest in last time. So I have a little presentation for y'all, and I know that this is live on Saturday, but it will be uploaded to the YouTube to pre-record or to pause and everything on these slides because this is a brief overview, and I tend to be long-winded, so I'm going to keep it as brief as I can, but feel free to go back to that YouTube and pause it and look at all the heavy information that is in these slides. So today we're talking about trance states, exploring the brainwaves, and QHHT. And my name is Shayne Goss. I'm co-director of Universal Healing Sanctuary here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I am a level 2 practitioner of QHHT, which is Dolores Cannon's quantum healing hypnosis technique, and level 2 Reiki, Holy Fire, Galactic Energy Healing, and sound healing, and also a Shamanic Healing Facilitator. So I work with these trance states and brainwave states like we all do in this field of energy healing and raising our consciousness and ascending into this beautiful new earth energy, which is all about the Sacred Heart, the Christ heart of unconditional love and non-judgment and service to others. So I'm very excited to be back representing UHS, Universal Healing Sanctuary, an umbrella ministry of Fifth Element Free Church. Our mission here in Georgia is creating a sacred space for connecting to the one infinite creator. And I did link our website right here. And we do have a beautiful website that our friend Elijah did for us. So if you like it, hit us up. We have his information. He does a great job, and he's a really wonderful guy and also part of our community. But we do have a calendar of our events and resources and everything like that. And that's Christina there, by the way. She did an awesome sermon in December as well on disproving hell using the Bible and the ancient languages. So these are some photos of our community. We have awesome members. They're all unique in their own way and practitioners of all sorts in the spiritual community. And we're just so grateful for them and this new space we'll have in Canton that we're moving into for our public events. I think we're going to be doing those on Mondays, but like I said, you can check the calendar on our website. So I love seeing all those smiles and faces in these photos. So we'll get into it today. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it's hard to find the root of this one, but Max Planck, the German physicist and founder of quantum physics, said this. And Dr. Wayne Dyer said this a lot in his book on the Tao Te Ching, going over the 81 verses and relating that to Christ's teachings and Buddha and all these other philosophies. And it's really a book about surrender, and I love that, surrender and balance. So I would like to invite everyone to just close your eyes and we'll pray in to receive this information today. So just close your eyes with me and take a deep breath. Mother, Father, God, we ask that you be with us today, and we thank you for this day and this beautiful community that we have here in Georgia and online with Fifth Element Free Church, and the freedom to be able to have this community together as we ascend into our Christed nature and our sacred heart and higher. And Mother, Father, God, I pray that everybody's angels, guides, and teachers be with them today and all days. And whatever information that resonates and can be used for service to others and for your will, let it be. And anything that does not resonate, just be saved for a later time. And we just thank you so much for this beautiful day and this community that we have here at Fifth Element Free Church. All right, amen. Yeah. Okay. So getting into trance states, first I just want to talk about the left brain and the right brain and those functions. But I did make a little, I did a little play on Left Foot, Right Foot by Dr. Seuss. Left brain, right brain, right. Brain in the morning, brain at night. Front brain, back brain, oh how neat. How many, many brains do you meet? So I love this little picture because it kind of shows a visual of what it looks like to be dominant in these areas and how it works together. You can see clearly on that one side, it's more information-based and analytical, logical, conscious mind on the left side, and then it's more creative and, intuitive and everything on the other side. And that's really the perfect representation of how those hemispheres of the brain are in the two hemispheres. So left hemisphere of the brain, and like I said, feel free to pause this on YouTube if you want to read over everything I've put together in the slides. But basically, all you need to know for today as I build is that the left brain is control, analytical thinking, including a mathematics, problem solving. When you're in the conscious state of mind and doing work and everything like that, you're going to be in the left hemisphere of the brain. And that's usually, like I said, that's more the conscious, maybe ego, personal side you're operating from a lot. And that, like I said, this is all a brief overview. So, because I'm going fast here, because I'll be long-winded if I don't. So the right hemisphere of the brain, and that's more where your emotion and intuition and creativity resides. And you'll see that, not one side is better than the other. They have this thing they call in neuroscience, which I'm skimming over neuroscience. So if there's anybody that wants to add anything, feel free to. I'm just not getting as deep as I would, or else we'd be here all day. So brain lateralization is when both sides of the brain are working in harmony. They both have different functions, which are good, but being in balance and harmony within those hemispheres of the brain, especially in waking states, can be very transformative in one's life. And there have been studies on, if you're left dominant, you might be right-handed or vice versa. And other personality characteristics, like if you ever heard someone say, oh, I'm a type A personality, that means, hey, I'm left brain dominant, I'm more analytical. I like to categorize things. I like to, make a list and get things done. And that's great, and some people are more right-brained and they're, they're a little more creative and maybe, eccentric or something like that, So, but finding that balance and knowing that that is within you to be in harmony and balance and using both sides is part of your superpower with your will. So, and it's just becoming aware of that is all. So brain waves. And here I took this from a combination of studies on Science Direct. I get a lot of my information for the National Library of Medicine. I'm always going on there and just checking stuff out. So your brain waves are oscillating electrical voltages, and this can be measured in amplitude and and frequency. And so like frequency, the hertz frequency would be cycles per second. So here in this this little chart, I have the 5 major brainwave states. So that's gamma, beta, alpha, theta, and then delta. So you can see here in gamma, you have the higher brainwave states. So oscillating at 35 hertz. And these are roundabout numbers because it is a spectrum. So in gamma, you'll be more in heavy concentration and attention. Beta is lower than that, so it's about 12 to 35 hertz. So this graph includes, and I didn't change it at all, but it includes the kind of more negative side effects that could occur when these brain waves are a little out of balance according to the hemispheres. So it gets really deep, and I'm not going to go that deep, but it could be in beta, you could have, and gamma, you could have, if it's out of balance, you could have Alzheimer's, ADHD, things like that, where you're not producing as many gamma waves for short-term memory. And then beta, you're still in that conscious waking state. Active external attention. So gamma and beta, you're focusing externally, which causes a lot of left brain activation. And beta, you can be relaxed if in balance. So you go from anxiety to relax. So that's, like I said, a spectrum. Alpha is 8 to 12 hertz. So you could be relaxed to pretty relaxed, and it's more of a passive attention. You're not having to think about what you're doing as much. It's more muscle memory, and you might be thinking about something completely different while you're doing something, and you're able to accomplish that. Theta is 4 to 8 hertz, and you're deeply relaxed in this state and inward focused, and that's on the brink of sleep. So and you'll slip into delta, slip into delta, which is 0.5 to 4 hertz, and you're asleep in delta. And most folks know that, but we're going to go over it. And here's a beautiful graph that shows you what it looks like. A lot of us are visual learners, so I wanted to include gamma. And if you take your hand and just put it over this, you'll see gamma, wow, problem solving, concentration, that looks like it might, look at those waves. They're so fast. They're so high and fast. And, that looks like anxiety to me. But as a musician, it's like I want to always see that nice, even wave. So you can see how different they look. And as, and their functions accordingly. So here we go into gamma. Gamma brainwave state is low amplitude, but the highest brainwave frequency. So it has a higher hertz, but a lower amplitude. And in gamma, like I said before, you're going to be very attentive and outwardly focused. You're going to be sharp on your short-term memory. It's all about cognitive function, and mostly in that left brain state. Beta are high frequency, so higher hertz, lower amplitude. And if you look back at that graph, you would see it's not as spiky. It's a little more even as it goes down in the lower hertz ranges. So you're same as gamma. You're really focused. You're very conscious. This is your waking state when you're interacting with the world. And then you have alpha, which is about, what did I say, 7 to 12, 13 hertz on the spectrum. And alpha is what we call the lighter phase of trance. It's a lighter state. Because this is what they also call the flow state. Like I said before, you're able to function, do tasks, but your conscious mind's kind of slipped out of the way a little bit. You're not completely focused on what you're doing. And we're in these brainwave states all the time. It's not anything it's completely natural. I'm just telling you what's going on up there. So that's there's this being the light of form of trance. You're like, well, what is trance then? If we're going through these brainwave states all the time, multiple brainwave states at one time. Trance is when you're semi-conscious. Like I said, that conscious mind, the left brain's kind of relaxed, and you're going more into the right hemisphere. And this is very important because this is kind of when, like I said, you have it's like a discipline. And as an artist or someone who is an athlete, um, which a lot of them do use hypnosis in order to function better, or high executives positions. Um, it's a matter of balancing that discipline with surrender. So you start to get that in this alpha brainwave state, where you're semi-conscious and that left brain is slipping out of the way, and it's not giving you all that self-talk or control. So, like I said, surrender. It's the difference between different discipline and surrender. Um, and I love that alpha state. We're in it more than we know. And actually, I'm going to back up and give you some examples because of how important this is. So we have driving your car. And I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're slipping in alpha when you're driving your car. You're getting that state of trance. When you're listening to music, driving a car or not, that can take you somewhere, and you can start to see these memories come up and everything in the music. Anytime you close your eyes, when we prayed earlier, you went to alpha brainwave state. When you meditate, when you're going in nature and you're starting to get that more relaxed feeling. And when you're watching TV, there was actually a study done that showed it. You had the EEG and everything, hooked up. So they're looking at the waves, the electrical impulses coming in, and nobody could watch TV more than 5 minutes without going into alpha. So, and of course, everybody that does the marketing and the ads on the TV, they know this, So you're getting programmed. They call it a TV program for a reason. But, that's not a bad thing. You just have to be a little more conscious about what you're putting into your program, because God made us perfect. And we have access to all these different technologies within us. And that's the way I look at the brainwave state. It's not one is better than the other. They're all functioning together, but it's just having that awareness that there's a different technology that you can access within these brainwave state programs that we're running on. So that is a really, really cool to me. So we'll move on to theta, which is you go into that deeper state of trance. And most hypnotists and light workers, you're going to be working in theta. Anybody that does that, or in alpha, when you're working in doing Reiki or massage, people say, oh, I like it when I'm doing a Reiki session, because when they start to fall asleep, because I know their conscious mind's going more and more out of the way, so they can surrender and do what's, relax, because your body listens to all of these thoughts and things, and they can get the work done in there and do the balancing that needs to be done. So in theta brain waves, these are higher amplitude, but a lower hertz frequency. So that's 4 to 8 hertz. And I love talking about theta, right? This is where I tend to work a lot. So theta's mostly known for being on just the brink of sleep. And what the work I do in QHHT, I explain that's when your conscious mind is pretty much drifted to the side, and you just think about when you go to sleep at night, your routine, you might say your gratitude, and then you just start to slip away, and then you start to see these visuals, and you're getting information there. And there's information to be accessed in all of these brainwave states, these bandwidths. And theta is also when you start to wake up, just right before you, not even before you open your eyes, because you'll come into alpha even when your eyes are closed. And alpha is kind of when you start to get, oh, I'm alive again, what I got to do today. And then you start making the list, you open your eyes, and you're back in beta, or you might be, in alpha and beta throughout your morning routine. So like I said, it's all completely natural, these brainwave states. And theta can, as a spectrum, theta can occur when you're, not only when you're drifting to sleep, but you're in that lighter phase of sleep as well. And daydreaming, you can reach theta brainwave states meditating as well if you lay down and get really relaxed. But it's so important to know that this, because you're not all there usually, this brainwave state it's a wealth of information. It's just like a fountain of information there, and most people aren't aware of that. But this is where your creativity, because you've slipped more out of the left brain and into the right brain, where your intuition and your creativity and everything like that reside. You can get so much more information there to help you in your waking life, and that's what it's about. And most people that go into a theta brainwave state and are comfortable and working there tend to have a better quality of life, psychological well-being. So this is a prime example of when the conscious mind will drift to the side so you can access the right brain benefits. And you can't operate in this all the time. That's why I'm saying it's so important to understand your brainwave states and your program. My grandpa used to say, when I first got my car, I first started driving, he said, you got to know about your vehicle in order to have one. And I was like, okay. He's like, you got to learn about the tires. You got to learn how to do your oil change. You got to learn how to do all this stuff. It's the same thing with our vehicle. God gave us this perfect vehicle. So I'm just here to tell you a little bit about it, if you didn't know already. So it's been said that once the mind has been expanded by an idea or concept, it can never return to its original way of thinking. And Dolores said that. Dolores Canton, founder of Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique, said that because she works in the theta brainwave state, or worked in the theta brainwave state, which is where we're trained as a QHHT practitioner to work. But she's a pioneer of past life regression and hypnosis. And she started back in 1968 with her husband, Johnny. Up until then, she was a typical Navy wife. But they were doing it originally to help with the, stop smoking, lose weight stuff. But they had a very interesting case that happened. And if you want to read about that, her first past life experience, where they didn't even, they grew up, very Christian and didn't even really believe in past lives, and traditional Christian, and so it really expanded what their belief system. But you can read Five Lives Remembered. That's her first book on that experience, and it has grown since, as far as what she learned was possible, that we're possible of, when our will aligns with our higher self, our higher consciousness, whatever you prefer to call that. So quantum healing hypnosis, I'll tell you a little bit about this. And I stray away from saying past life regression much anymore, because that goes on a linear time scale. So, we've learned through quantum healing hypnosis and metaphysics that time is not linear, and we have all of these selves, versions of us going on. We have, we have a soul, and then we have, these different incarnations of that. And it's all happening at once. So I don't really say past life regression anymore. You can call it that. But we work in the somnambulistic level and the theta brainwave state. So it's really good, to be guided to this state, so that way you can get information from, we can say, past life, that's going to help you now. So what we're doing here is getting you really relaxed on the brink of sleep, and then the subconscious would come through and give you the most appropriate lifetime or lifetimes to view that's going to help you right now in the present life. So they know everything, the oneness of Source knows everything about all the soul groups, the social memory complexes in your mind, body, spirit complex. So when I say subconscious, and when we say subconscious in QHHT, we're not talking about the psyche. As far as this lifetime, the buildup of the things you like, don't like, based on your experiences. That would be the psychological, term for that. We're talking about the subconscious as in the universal consciousness beyond your soul, and beyond. So it could be beyond the human consciousness. She didn't know what to call it at the time, but they said we don't have a name, so we don't really care what you call us. We'll work with you because we're helping raising the vibration of the planet to unity consciousness. So some folks like to call this the oversoul Christ consciousness, because it's just such a great love and unity and peace that comes into the room and over anybody in the room when we're doing this. The higher consciousness, the universal mind, the oneness with Source. So this when I say the theta brainwave state is awesome, and this is where I like to work, this is what I mean right here. It is the most beautiful thing to be able to facilitate a session like this and get all of the answers to the questions someone has. And great healing can happen during these sessions as well, on the emotional, the physical level, but all in the will of the entity, the subject there, and their belief system, and you'll never, the subconscious, or the SC as we call it, it's never going to give you anything that you can't handle, and it will never infringe on your free will, because your free will is your superpower here. That is your gift from God, here on planet Earth, and that's very special, because we get to co-create our reality. So the somnambulist in trance and hypnosis stigma. Let me go back and say this real quick. I got this. If you're watching later on YouTube, hello, and you want to pause this, you can go straight to the QHHT website, because this is where I took the stuff about Dolores and everything, because they say it so beautifully. It's hard to say within a short amount of time, because it's heavy information. So in the somnambulistic state of trance and theta brainwave state and hypnosis stigma. So like I said before, we're going in and out of these brainwave states all the time. That's how God made us. And there's nothing wrong with it. Some people are like, oh, hypnosis, I don't, there's a stereotype around it. If you are working with someone like me or anyone in QHHT, we are for the well-being of you as the person, the subject coming in. So we will never do anything against your will. And or a lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna fall off the face of the earth and do something weird or stupid or something like that. No, it's not like that. That's the TV stigma. There's great healing within there. It's just like a guided meditation, and then you can be able to access this information and channel your higher part of your being to get these answers to the questions that you have in your life that are going to help you become closer represent your higher self in physical form here. So a lot of the times that people think, oh, I'm going to drop off the face of the earth and, you know, and not remember anything. And that's not true either. Everybody's experience is perfect for them in that day, for that day, based on what they are coming in with. So, like for instance, when I've been regressed in a session, I still remember a little bit, you know. A true somnambulist might not remember anything at all. They have completely become that entity in that past life or that lifetime being showed. Not everybody's like that. It might be 1 in 25 people. And that was years ago when Dolores said that, because now our consciousness, collective consciousness, is rising. So we're working in higher brainwave states and able to even access this information in a deep alpha state now, because our right and left brain hemispheres are coming more into harmony with the rising of our consciousness. Which is so exciting, you know. And this is free information, you know, that you can go in within yourself and get. A lot of the times when you're working in those lower, you know, you can't always remember in theta. That's why it's important to have a guide, and, you know, be safe and everything like that, and make sure, you know, you're good and can integrate the experience. So, like I said before, nothing can be done against your will. We hold that to the utmost. So even that even includes receiving a healing. It even includes receiving the healing. It can be blocked by the will and the belief system of that entity or subject that's there. And I'm not a medical professional, and I will say this over and over and over again. So I can't promise any healing. It's not me that does the healing. And any Reiki practitioner and stuff will say that as well. We're a facilitator and a vessel. So there's no guarantee of a cure. But that doesn't mean I haven't seen miracles. You know, it's very exciting. I'll give you a little list of things that I've seen happen, but I can't take credit for that, because that is that person's ability to let go of what it is emotionally that's made it into the body, or just emotions to let go and then receive that healing. And also, everybody has a different journey. So it just really depends on the person coming in. So, like I said before, QHHT is awesome. And I love working in that theta brainwave state, because it really helps people connect to their intuition, their more right brain, get you more in balance, and you get to really have an amazing experience that comes in and touches your soul, and then you're able to integrate that into your daily life, all that you've learned. And that's the most important thing here, is the integration piece. You can have an amazing experience in a trance state with a shaman, or under plant medicine, or, you know, working with the plant medicine as a tool. But if you're not doing the integration work, as far as that balancing that right brain, left brain hemisphere into your daily life, it's like, well, okay, well, what was that for? So the integration is very important, and you're going to take that to those other brainwave states like beta and delta that you experienced in alpha and theta. You're going to take it up there, and you're going to do the work, right? So that's why it's so important to understand all of this. So the miracles that I've seen is this is a compilation of physical and emotional, you know, things. But I had someone come in. Were born with a hole in their heart, and it had a little murmur. They had a heart murmur, and we got to the bottom of why that was. You know, because she just had to go through regular checkups, make sure everything was okay. And, you know, heart murmurs can be a little scary. So she went back to the doctor after her session, and they said, Well, I couldn't find the hole in your heart. I mean, it's always been clearly there. It's barely there anymore. And he said, it was so hard to hear your murmur too. I could barely hear it. It took me a while. And she was so tickled after that. She wanted to come back in and work on her cataracts. And sure enough, she had a cataract surgery scheduled. She went back to the doctor. This was the the surgery, or this was a checkup before the surgery. And he said, well, you don't need surgery anymore. I don't understand how could this happen? And she said, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. And that's the kind of things that happen, when you're in alignment, when you're able to let go of things and you're in alignment with your path. And like I said, it's different for everybody. Because you never know what your soul, needs you to experience. So that's a couple examples of some physical healings that have happened. And another one that I was really excited about was I had someone come in who experienced seizures, and she experienced them like once or twice. Oh, I guess about once a week, a couple times a month. And she had really bad migraines too. I mean, she had a migraine like all the time. And we got to the bottom of it. There were some blocked memories there. She went back to early childhood. It wasn't a different lifetime, but there was something she needed to see there. And they told her, what to do when she felt like something was, coming on in her situation. So she, that was back in October, and it's July, and she hasn't had a seizure since their session. So if, and a lot of the times, like I said, it's based on the belief system. And she believed that she was able to let some of these things go, and it was hard stuff to let go. QHHT can be great for insomnia, PTSD, anxiety, depression, grief. I've used it for myself for grief. Phobia, limb numbness, overweight, medication complications, which I can't tell anybody not to take any medications, but able to get that information for them to help them go to their doctor and do what they will with it. But, blocked childhood trauma, memory loss, missing time. We do a lot of the missing time stuff. Birthmark removal, insulin resistance, muscle spasm, back pain, bladder pain, kidney stones, gastrointestinal issues. I had someone with a nervous tic who came in and the next day it was gone. And his wife came to see me the next week, and she said, well, I was kind of on the fence about believing, that we were able to influence our bodies like this, but his tic was gone the next day, so I was like, I got to get in here. So, it's beautiful stuff like that that happens. And even another one that I was really excited about for someone was that they had fatty liver, and their enzymes, they just went to the doctor. I heard back from them a couple weeks ago. Their enzymes are good, nothing wrong. And they struggled with that for a very long time. And that's amazing. I mean, yay God, and I can't take credit for any of that work. I get excited when someone is able to receive stuff like this because that means they put in their work. And don't get me wrong, you go home with the homework. You get told exactly what would be best and for you to do with the integration piece. And you see the benefits of folks that do that integration into their life. But you'll leave with a recording. So record the session. Not the interview portion, but when we do the regression, and you listen back once a day for best results. And like I said, your brain, your body is listening to these. They're listening to these thoughts, just like affirmations are so powerful and balancing your chakras and all these things. And your cells hear that, but because it's frequency, and listening back to your recording from your session is very powerful in the same way, and it has a lot of positive benefits. And you can listen to that in a conscious waking state. You should, not when you're driving a car though. So while the body sleeps, our soul or our spirit is having many adventures. It may travel to the spirit realm to meet with master teachers and guides, to obtain advice, or to learn lessons. It also may travel to other parts of the world or even venture outward to other worlds and dimensions. And Dolores Cannon said that. So our last brainwave state we're talking about today is delta, and that's 0.5 hertz to 4 hertz. So it has, a high amplitude and a lower frequency like that. So, and you're going to be sleeping, and your body is in repair when you're sleeping. You in a QHHT session, they always say it's still going to, the work we've done is still going to be working and releasing during their sleep tonight. Because you're in a place of so deep relaxation and surrender. Your body is. So that's the brainwave state you're emitting. So integration, I talked about that a little bit, and some takeaways. So I would say the biggest takeaway today would be knowing that you're perfectly made with all of these parts of yourself, and the information within those brainwave states, those brain bands. Now that you know, I would say maybe take some time categorizing and noticing when you're in alpha, how often you're in alpha brainwave state, or taking a time to really enjoy falling into theta brainwave state when you lay down at night, and doing your meditations more frequently, balancing that right brain, left brain, those hemispheres to work in tandem, to get that brain lateralization going, because that's going to cause you to be more in balance and harmony within your emotional body as well. So integrating with that meditation and prayer time in your daily routine is so important. Getting out, letting that conscious mind drift to the side, where that negative self-talk may reside. You don't, your body listens to that. So, another takeaway would be that we're in trance states all day, every day long. And it's completely good and fine. And it's a technology within us that can be so, the positive benefits can be endless. So, and it can cause more peace and flow state into your life. We talked about flow state, the athletes that get into flow state, and the great yogis like Yeshua or Jesus the Christ. He was a master in these brainwave states and understood them, was very comfortable with the different brainwave states. Buddha, Yogananda. And I do encourage you to, maybe even do some research on your own, since I don't have much time here with you today. But QHHT also, is a form of the holistic healing. And it works with the natural theta brainwave state. So that's a sober state. You're not using with the help of any plant medicine or marijuana or psilocybin or ayahuasca or anything like that. It's within you. How powerful is that? You don't need those other tools, although they can be great with the integration piece into your life with other brainwave states. But it's a great way for you to access your higher guidance and your intuition on a daily basis, which is so important for this time of ascension into the new earth energy. So trance states are natural, and they can be used for great relaxation and raising a consciousness. I would say I'm going to give you homework too. So I would say another cool thing to look at would be, do you, when you're at the doctor's office or at anywhere, at the salon or something, they're playing this music, a soft music, like what are we doing subliminally within our daily life? Like, what are companies doing, everything like that, in order to put you in a more relaxed state? So I would look at that, and it's not bad. It's just, there's just the different brainwave states and the different benefits of those. Uh, so that causes you have some more awareness. But if there's any aha moments that anybody had, or an example of when you're in a different brainwave state, brain band, and how, or an awesome experience that you had, or just anything you want to add, you can put that in the comments, and maybe I can come back and speak a little bit more on something else. I would really love to come back and talk about some sound healing. So if that sounds cool to you, I can dig into those hertz a little more, and like entrainment of frequency and all that. So I get really nerdy on that stuff. But if there's if there are any questions that you have as well, feel free to reach out. So my name's Shayne Goss, again, director of UHS, co-director. You can find our calendar on there. We would love to come see you and have you part of our community. I'm also a level 2 QHHT practitioner in Atlanta, Georgia, and that's my email, shanegoss at QHHT at gmail.com. I do ministry members discounts. So, and that extends to Fifth Element Free Church. So, obviously, so I just want to make that aware to everybody. So, hopefully, we'll be seeing everybody, and I'd love to have some kind of way for all of us to meet up soon. That would be really cool. I know we're all across the states, but let's stay connected online. And I leave you now in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth then, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one infinite Creator, Adonai. Now, I hope y'all have an amazing, amazing week. All right. I will see y'all later.